No, not yet. Yes, madam.
Good afternoon to all of you. I hope you had a great lunch. We will be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes. Our expert has already joined in. So, but we'll wait for our participants to come in, then we will start. I think Ramkaran sir, I could see you as a participant. I have made you the co-host, sir. So whenever you feel okay, sir, you can come on video. I will wait for 2-3 minutes for people to join in.
Yeah, Professor Manoj Gopali, I am able to hear you.
So you
And-
can switch on the video, and you have been given rights to share the screen and all, sir. You have
Okay.
become the co-host, sir.
Okay.
Great to see you, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar. So
Long time, sir.
after long time we are able to see each other. Very
Exactly,
nice.
exactly. It's great, sir, that you have said yes for this time. I know you are quite occupied for your whole day. Thank you that you are sparing your valuable 2 hours with us, sir.
No, even I am equally grateful because this is sort of an opportunity for me, and we should always find out the time for such thing. So
Exactly, sir.
and this is also opportunity for me to see you after long time.
Yeah, that's something great too. Fantastic.
This Bhubaneswar city, I am a bit familiar. In 2004, I was there in KIIT University
Okay.
for a semester
Mhm,
after
mhm.
my postdoctoral fellowship. And
Great,
then-
great. So I've been here for last 3 years. It's great year, but you know, in out of these 3 years, more than 2 years is around for this COVID only. So it's very tough time. The moment I came here, after 7-8 months, this COVID has started.
And since then, mostly we are online only.
Exactly, and we are on online.
Even this third wave is, I don't know how effective it will be, but it's lot of
There will be a
alarming.
wave. There is no doubt. But the only thing is that the variant is not as harmful as the second one, Delta one. What we have heard that Omicron is quite infectious, but not as dangerous as what we had in the second wave. That is the only silver lining we can say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let us hope so. It should be
let's
just
hope
like
so.
cough and cold.
Exactly. So we have around 100 plus people joining in throughout the session. They start late because after lunch they normally had their classes sometime. But we normally have by the we reach say half an hour or 1 hour between the session, we get 100 plus participants join in.
So this is overall strength of faculty members
No,
in your
so it is across the board. It is a faculty development program sponsored by AICT Atal Academy. So it has a participation from Pan India, and we are allowed to take a maximum of 30% of the internal candidates. So beyond that, all are from other country. I think Sheila ma'am. Ma'am, please come in, and I will allow you to switch on the video. It's good to see Ramkaran sir.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Good to connect back. Thank you, Manoj sir.
Yes.
And see you connect.
Yes. I have given rights to switch on the videos, ma'am. You please come on video. We can see you also.
Yeah. So, sir, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. Now I can recognize. I was trying because since long time We did not heard the name of each other, so but now I can connect your name with your face.
Now,
as
sir, now ma'am is Dean there, Dean.
in your university.
No,
Yes,
no.
sir. So I am
She's in
heading
Bangalore.
no, I am in Alliance University, Bangalore, sir.
Bangalore.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Good to see you.
Good to see.
Sir, actually, a lot of participants might be knowing you because many might have from, I think, NCU as well.
Okay.
And maybe on you had a long 30 years of experience. We may have some other familiar faces here
Some
as
other
well.
different places. Maybe
Yes,
somebody
yes.
joined from KIIT.
Exactly.
Or TERI or MIT. All these places I had been at some point of time.
Yes. So you please take a call. The number has swelled up to 46 now. So do you want us to wait more or shall we start?
Let us maybe a few minutes more.
Okay, sir. No issues. So I just want to know from this new campus, I guess I say FI is having a new campus on Dehradun or it is being there for last few years?
It is for quite some time, maybe 13 to 15 years old campus.
Oh, okay. Because when we heard of Dehradun, we used to get DIAT, UPES, that kind of name we used to hear.
Actually, this has altogether nearly 11 campuses all over India.
Yeah, that it's a big name.
And it has some lean patch in between.
Okay.
But now again it is coming up. Out of 4 schools, 3 schools are doing very well. Like management, law, and education. There is little bit recession in the tech school.
Exactly. Sir, if I can recall my days, maybe I can say 2 decades ago, one of my friend got an admission in ICFI Hyderabad and in the MBA program. So it was something very big at that time to crack that exam and all. To go through that particular process is also quite a challenging thing. Then after that, ICF has grown like anything. So it has a long legacy of we can say imparting quality education, especially known for management. But I think now they have spread the wings.
Yeah. They have a business school in Gurgaon also.
Yes.
And 9 other business school all over India. And
exactly.
Universities. So now we have 50 plus. And,
yes, sir. Now we can start, sir. Give me a second, sir. I will share my screen and I will share a brief bio of yours, sir.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to all of you once again. I welcome you to the day 2, session 3 of Atal Academy sponsored 5 days FDP program on leadership and excellence, a need in an era of disruptive transformation. It is from 3rd to 7th Jan. We are working on this program. It is organized by CV Raman Global University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. We have with us Professor Ram Karan Singh, Vice Chancellor, ICFI University, Dehradun. He is going to deliver expert talk on the academic leadership through research and innovation for sustainable educational growth in Indian and international perspective. A brief bio, a PhD, postgraduate, undergraduate, and we can say another postgraduate in science from BITS Pilani, Rajasthan, a postdoc from JSPS Fellow, Japan. He is presently working as a Vice Chancellor at ICFI University, Dehradun. He has over 30 years of teaching, research, and administrative experience, along with a lot of top institution and university, out of which 13 years abroad as well. He worked on various top academic and administrative positions during this whole tenure. He is a member of and fellow member of national and international academic, research, and administrative professional bodies. He has done his BE honors in civil engineering. He is a civil engineering expert, postgraduate in civil engineering with specialization in hydraulics engineering. His PhD area is in hydraulics and water resource engineering from Premium Institution BITS Pilani. He has done his postdoctoral fellowship through Japan Society of Promotion of Sciences from 2002 to 2004. He is the recipient of over 15 top national and international academic and research award. He has developed and taught over 50 different courses, both from undergrad to the you can say PhD level, supervised more than 100 postgraduate theses along with 15 PhD theses, and currently he's having 5 ongoing PhD work. He has over 150 research paper to his credit and having 5 books authored by him. He is having 6 national and international patent, out of which recently 4 patent has been done in the research area of engineering and technology. He has an experience of working for national and international quality accreditation, including ABET. He has also visited almost the whole globe, from USA, Europe, Japan, South Korea, Africa to the Middle East for research, teaching, and collaborative activities. He has organized 5 international conferences, both at the national and the international level. He has completed several research projects funded by DST, GDT, SVN, Netherlands, GSPS, and so on and so forth. His future commitment for that, he is here with us, is to give the top leadership role through institution building. That is what he's for. His future commitment is to give the top leadership role through institution building as an educationist, research and academic activities, and academic policies at national level through his vast national and international diverse experience and peer relations. So thank you so much for sparing your valuable time, sir. And I will hand over this virtual dais to you, sir. I will stop sharing my screen, and being a co-host, you can now share your screen, sir.
I would like to thanks to Professor Manoj Gopalia, my ex-colleague in the North Cap University, Gurgaon, and we worked together for quite some time together, and well known in the North Cap University. In many contexts, even now we are remember in the office room number 123, yes, while I used to have any sort of gathering there. So some context always used to come while we remember. His contribution was vital there, and the same thing we expect any university system he always contributes to the level of his best. And
thank you for this kind words, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And when he invited me for this talk, I was very delighted. And since this is with the AICT funded FDP program and on a very important leader, Atal Bihari Vajpayee Sarji, as the ex-Prime Minister of India, on whose name this particular FDP has been fixed. And certainly he was a great leader, and nobody can have a parallel role as per compared to him. And once the leadership comes, this means whatever may be the area, not only the political leadership, even all aspect of the life requires leadership. And we always evolve in our life, in our career, only and only apart from our good career background, if we have a leadership qualities. And for the academic institutions, this particular dimension is very important in each individual who are working in the academic institutions. We in India having more than 1,200 universities in different states, and out of that close to 600 private universities who are contributing quality education to the large number of Indian manpower. So such kind of the programs are very important and very essential. And with this talk, I wish to share my experience in past 30 years working in India and globally in different institutions and universities. And I hope next close to 2 hours, it will be very interactive talk and discussions, and certainly you will be having something take home out of this discussion and out of this interaction. And I shall be happy if anybody willing to ask question intermittently as well. So that time I shall also would like to interact with each and every participants who are here. And if I see the total list of participant has reached to 68, and most of you are doctor with quite good amount of academic and research experience. And most of you are already aware with a lot of things which I am going to talk in next 2 hours with you. But certainly it will be also reminding same things and keeping the quality parameters in mind, both at a national and international level. So if I share this screen, I shall also keep sharing different kind of web portal as well as case studies which I am going to take during this participation. I would like to make it more and more participative as well as so that most of the audience who are here should be in position to enjoy. I wish to share it in the
full screen. You want it to be full screen?
I want
so you can go to view, that view tab.
Okay.
This one on the top, there is a view tab.
There
Home,
is
insert, design, view. Just before
let me
help.
drag it down. Then
this is view.
Slide slideshow.
Yeah, slideshow.
Slideshow is there from beginning. Yeah.
From beginning. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Atal FDP on the leadership and the excellence. These two things are very important in the academic activities, leadership as well as the excellence. In education, the word excellence is very important. And our most of the UG programs in the different private, state and the central universities are meant for the revenue generations, but our masters and PhD programs are for the excellence. If I say the excellence means the vertical growth of the university and academic system. So master degree is certainly is the direction towards the academic excellence, and PhD degree is certainly the direction for the academic excellence, because there each and every individual are expected to do the quality publications through their PhD activities, through their PhD supervisions, through their project project handling, funded research project handlings. So the research happens in different ways, and we normally report each and every research through the research publications in high impact journals. So that contribute for the academic excellence. And most of these days, the national and international accreditation agencies who gives quite good importance for the research component. So the research publication in the top journals are very important. And publishing in good journals is not only the requirement for the personal growth, as well as it is also requirement for the institutional growth in the system where you are working with. So most of the time NIRF ranking or NAAC ranking, or if you go for the QS ranking or academic accreditation like ABET of USA, all these accreditation system needs the quality research publications. And research publication itself is a relative term. For example, most of the US universities, there one of the ranking parameter is how much Nobel laureate are there in that particular university. We cannot match that standard, because we all together we are having 4 to 5 Nobel laureate in the country as a whole. So but sometimes they also go for the publication in Nature, or sometimes they also talk about the list of journals who are listed in the Web of Sciences, and we also go for the Scopus and various other good peer-reviewed journals. So all the research colleagues, faculty members, academician and researcher who are participating in this particular workshop might be aware with this kind of excellence rather the academic excellence parameter. And you might have also heard about the Stanford ranking these days from past couple of years. The top scientists around the globe, they are identified based on the uh, Stanford ranking. In that, some top level scientists are being ranked. So, and this number is also large from the Indian universities. We have some good number of top scientists working in the different Indian institutions, as well as the private and state and the central government universities. The academic leadership through the research and innovation. The research, when I talk about the research through the publications, either in journals, most of the time in journals, and the innovation, we talk about the different kind of the patents which we file, and we go in the process of getting patented. We go in the process of getting grants. Those patents get granted, and sometimes they get converted in the real life products used by the industries, and the people also get the royalty out of that. And for sustainable education, here the word sustainable education is important, because in the modern education system where the knowledge is evolving with a very high pace, so updating our knowledge on a day-to-day basis is becoming a really challenging. Even we as a teaching community, we as a professor, it is very important for us to update our knowledge on day-to-day basis. Then only we can produce the manpower. Manpower means graduate, postgraduate, and PhD students who will be employable in the national as well as in the global market. That is the meaning of sustainable education. Sustainable education means keeping the pace with the development in current time as well as in the future. And so that is the meaning. So sustainable word always linked with the future, whether it is sustainability of the natural resources. If I say the natural resources means water, air, and the food supply, or if we talk about the sustainable word is being used, generic word, which is used these days in the all area of human concern. So sustainability means the availability of the resource for the future generations. So if this in education term, we use the sustainability means sustaining the educations in the latest development of globalizations, latest evolvement of new knowledge. That is the meaning of sustainability. So we can sustain in the education only and only if we upgrade our knowledge on day-to-day basis. And upgrading of knowledge on day-to-day basis is possible only and only if we are a good researcher. So then only our teaching and learning will be the research-based teaching. And when our students will graduate, their aptitude will be also on the same platform, same footing. So that is the reason the research component is very important for the faculty members or the individual who has selected their career as a teaching career. Here I am talking both in Indian and international perspective, because I have quite a good number of experience, nearly 13 years. I worked globally in the different research labs in India as well as in abroad. For example, for my postdoctoral fellowship, I worked in Japan under the JSPS postdoctoral fellowship, where I worked in the research labs, basically the modeling of diffuse pollution in the paddy fields of Japan, funded by Mitsubishi Research Foundations. And similarly, when I work in the King Khalid University of Saudi Arabia, we had a lot of funded research project by the Ministry of Higher Education as well as Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture, where we did a lot of geospatial modeling for the natural resource management of Saudi Arabia. Natural resource of the Arab regions are very important because they are very scarce resources. For example, water rainfall in the Arab region is very low, maybe 30% of our annual average rainfall. Our annual average rainfall is close to 900 millimeters. So their average annual rainfall is close to 300 millimeter or so. That is the region water become very scarce. So only the way of survival in these countries is treating the seawater and consuming that water for drinking as well as domestic use and various other purposes. Rest surface and groundwater is very scarce. Same thing is for the fertile soil resources. They don't have a fertile soil resources for the agricultural activities. So other than petroleum, rest of the things they depends upon the other countries. So we as Indians are very fortunate having all kind of the natural resources, all kind of the weather condition, environmental conditions. So by being in different countries, at the end we found that the India as a country, we are very fortunate that the nature has given everything for the good survival, for the good GDP, for good development. So these things can be only achieved through the good research work, and then the research works gives an academic leadership we can do only and only if we are good academician and good researcher. These days, people think that the vice chancellor job is the purely administrative job, but I don't think so. I feel even maybe 70 to 80% it is academic leadership, and 10 to 20% it is administrative leadership. Because the university environment, academic leadership is very important. If you have academic leadership, then only you can give a great vision to the academic environment. You can motivate to your colleagues, and you can make a better teaching learning environment in the university system as a whole. So to me, what I understand the academic leadership is the holistic growth of an individual who can contribute for the overall growth of the university system, and that directly or indirectly also helps to the nation as a whole, and ultimately it also helps to the global society. So that is the meaning of academic leadership. As Professor Manoj Gopalia has read out my CV, if you see, I tried to keep a balance in my career as academician. I have taught more than 50 courses, rather developed them also for the UG, PG and PhD. I supervised number of PhD thesis, master degree dissertation. I did good number of research publication, peer-reviewed journals. I did good number of patents. At the same time, I was also holding the position of head of department, deans of the various division of university system. Now I'm holding the position of vice chancellor. So this means if you really want to give academic leadership, you need to give the holistic leadership. Of course, you need to have big peer review, peer group to support the university system better. You must also understand the functioning of guidelines of the university grant commissions, guidelines of the state higher education departments, and so on. But other and then statutes, and then the various other important documents related to the academic leadership. But these things you can understand and contribute only and only if you are a good academician and good researcher. So, and more you are linked with the end users. If I say the end users means the student community. Till very recently, I am teaching the number of courses for UG, PhD and master degree, in spite of taking the job of vice chancellorship. So then only you can understand the problem at grassroots level and you can contribute. And this particular topic is very close to my heart, and I can speak number of hours. Here the points which I'm willing to cover: what is the academic leadership all about? What is the research and innovation? What is the sustainable education growth? And what is the Indian and international perspective? So these points I have drawn from the topic itself, and these points are very important. And so time to time, some of you who are new in research activities, I wish also to tell them what are the importance of different type of indices which reflects about your research activities. And if I understand well, most of you might be also registered yourself on the Google Scholar. Most of you might be registered on the ResearchGate or ORCID or various other research platforms important for this kind of thing, even on the LinkedIn. And we, as a researcher, hardly find the time for the social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, and all those things, because our most of the time goes in these kind of activities. And this is important for our personal growth as well as the growth of the university system. So here I shall be talking about some of the indices which are important, like topics covered as why assess scholarly impact of research, overview of metrics and tools, then the journal metrics, then the article metrics, author metrics, what are all metrics, and the current issues and future considerations. What we are talking about when we talk about impact: typically extent to which research is read, discussed, used, and disseminated. So all kind of the research which we use is not necessarily need to be confined in the hard copies in the different volume form of in the libraries, but it is need to be read, it is need to be discussed, it is need to be used, and it is need to be disseminated. So most of the time, if you are getting good citation index, if the dissemination of that knowledge is done widely. So sometimes if you write a research article, it's in a high impact factor, its citation is quite high because it has a lot of utility in the real life problems. So whenever we do the research work, we should always be aware with its end use and its social relevance. Then only that research work is going to have a lot of citations in the times to come. And the use of the research work is very important for the growth of the country, for the growth of the nation. Certain countries, they hardly do any fundamental research, but they utilize the research or the existing knowledge, and they are becoming the prime countries in terms of economy. For example, Japan, they don't do much of the fundamental research, but they utilize too much of the existing research. So, and that they are making use in their industrial production and so on. So much of the research knowledge is available these days. That knowledge need to be utilized for well-being of the education. Knowledge need to be discussed also, need to be shared also. Sharing means dissemination, and we need to read also. We need to habit of reviewing the research and then identifying the latest research thrust areas, and then we keep working with the help of the funded research projects. We keep supervising the PhD research scholars in order to develop and evolve the new knowledge. So university system is nothing but the system which is meant for creation of new knowledge and the dissemination of new knowledge. So that is the typical meaning of a university system, and that system is different from the college and the schools. So if we work in a university environment, so we have a lot of responsibility to create the new knowledge as well as disseminate that knowledge for well-being of the society. So Why we measure different kind of indices for promotion and tenure, determine the research quality, assess the potential for grant fundings, job market, prove productivity, and why is. So this is the region we measure our research quality, and these research qualities are measured in form of indices. Some of you, if you are registered on the ResearchGate, you might be checking your RG score on day-to-day basis. And in the times to come, like Stanford ranking, the even different kind of the appointments are going to directly being taken from seeing your credentials on LinkedIn platform or so many other things. Like in past couple of years, so many people called me and willing to take my interview for the position of Vice Chancellor by just seeing my profile on the LinkedIn. Though I don't have a LinkedIn account on the paid basis, but if one can go and one is willing to use it on more and more professional basis, you can create your profile on LinkedIn, and depending upon your academic accreditation, academic credentials and research credentials, people will directly contact you. So very soon the time is coming where you need not to look for a job, rather job will look for you. Where are you? So, and that will entirely depends upon your academic and research credentials. That is the region. These things are going to become very important, both for the national as well as for the global jobs. So these are very soon we are going to see that all the recruitment processes will happen based on the indices which you developed as an individual in terms of research as well as academic achievements. And you can be there on the portal where people can search you and request you to attend the interaction and the interview process and join the jobs. So this is these search processes are going to become very handy. So so that is the region. These indices which we gauge are linked with the job market, with linked with the productivity, be linked with the grant and fundings. Different type of grants and funding you are going to get only and only if you are well proven professional in those areas. So suppose you want to get the grants on nanotechnology, people can check your credentials on nanotechnology from the portal itself. What are the number of research publications you have? What are the type of journals? What are their standards? So that is the region. This kind of the transparencies are going to come. And what are we measuring with the indices? We also measure the journal quality and then the article reach, which directly indicator for the research citations, article impact and the influence, and dissemination and the research impact. These are the things which we measure. And how are we measuring? We are measuring through the journal level matrix, measure quality of journals using the citation formula, article level matrix, citation based L matrix, author level matrix measures bibliographic impact of individual authors, and L matrix measures and monitor reach and impact of research through online interactions. So for example, if you open the Google Scholar and you are searching the research article, so you can search the research article by the author name, as well as you can search the research article by putting certain keywords in those thrust areas. You will get number of research papers on which you can start doing your literature review, start writing your research articles. So these platforms are very useful, which are free of cost, and they are very useful. If I take my time, we normally used to sit in hours in the library take the different type of hard copies of the volume of journals and do the manual literature review. But these things are these days you can directly do sitting on your laptop in home or in office or in library, where anywhere and everywhere you can contribute for the research activities on sitting your laptop and this kind of the digital platform to access the literatures which are important for the research activities. And these days, lot of resources are available free of cost. So for we being a good researcher, we need not to invest too much rather than using the so much of resources available in the public domain for free of cost. Even satellite imageries with which we do the geospatial modeling, we can get the free of cost from the NASA website, and various other top universities around the globe. They also give the satellite imageries, but same satellite imageries, sometime if we purchase, it cost several $1,000s of currency for doing the geospatial modeling to carry out certain kind of the research activities. So these days we are very fortunate that so much of the data information, primary and secondary data, is available in the public domain for the research activities, where we can do the quality research work without spending too much money related to the research activities. These are journal level matrix. Most journal level matrices are calculated from the pool of journal index into citation indexing database. One is the Web of Sciences, which most of you are aware with, Calvirate Analytics. Over 11,549 journals from the Science Citation Index, and some of them are expanded SCIE index, and gradually they becomes the part of this journals listed in Web of Sciences. And Social Science Citation Index, yes, SSCI. The library has a subscription to Web of Science, does not include access to journal citation reports. And then the Scopus elsewhere we talk covers nearly 20,000 titles in the scientific, technical, medical, and social sciences, including arts and humanities. The library does not a subscription of Scopus. Journal matrices are freely available. So these days, the role of academician has become more and more facilitator, enabler, because so much of informations are available in the public domain. So it is not necessary for us so these days the teaching learning is not that difficult because if we are a good facilitator, we can become a good researcher and good teacher. The reason being, if we get the right kind of the aptitude of the students and with the research interest, you just supervise them, rest of the things they will do, because lot of everything is available in the public domain. Marine pollution bulletin, this is one sample journals given here. You might be aware with all these things while you are preparing on manuscript and submitting to some kind of journals. Open access articles, most cited, recent articles, most downloaded, this kind of the information will be available. All these numbers are important for us because they contribute for us in improving our RG scores and so many other stats which are important for us. So those people who are researching these days, every morning they might be checking their scores in terms of citations, in terms of H index, in terms of I index, in terms of RG scores. So sometimes this become a part of our day-to-day activities. So in the modern era, these things are going to be very important because everything is going to based on output based. Even I remember some of the international projects on which I was working with. All those projects were used to be the target oriented. Some of the projects used to have a target of publishing 20 research paper in peer reviewed journals listed in Web of Sciences. Some project used to have a target of 10, some project used to have a target of 5, depending upon the amount of fundings and the year of fundings. And these targets used to be fixed. And based on that, we also used to get the remuneration. So in around top universities around the globe, we are remunerated for each and everything. I remember close to my salary, I used to also get the money from the research funded projects as a salary. So in many universities around the globe, if you do a quality research work through the funded research projects, you also get the salary out of those projects other than the salary which you get on your day-to-day activities. So this becomes more and more attractive, because in the process you are solving a lot of problems related to policies of the government for managing their natural resources and for managing their developments. So this kind of the research activities helps the policies issues of the government. And most of the countries, they directly use the research outcome of the laboratories to the field. So those people who are really enjoying doing research, and then the kind of incentives, the kind of attraction which is there in the research, always motivate us to enjoy the research activities. Because for a quality research work, the research motivations are important. Research motivations happens only and only if you are also given the research incentives. So that is a very, very important. And these days, most of the countries like India, I'm willing to see after some decades, the India is also going to be education-based economy like the United States of America. So for that region, we as a professor, we as a scientist need to do the research-based teaching rather than, of course, the case study-based teaching is done in the area of management, but same thing is also complemented with the research-based teaching, both for the technical and non-technical teaching environment, in order to have a India to see as a education-based economy. Certain things which is we are very fortunate being Indians, that our education system is very much affordable, and the quality of education is as far to the international or the global standards. So you will hardly find any country who is imparting the quality education on such subsidized rate of education. For example, certain undergraduate degrees for which even the crores and crores of rupees are charged in the American and other European universities, people are doing in few lakhs. So that way our education system is very much affordable, as well our quality is as par to the international quality standards. So general impact factor, most well known and especially influential in STEM disciplines. JIF is a measure of the frequency with which the average article published in a given scholarly journals has been cited in a particular year for period. JIF is not normalized for discipline, can use the quartile positions. of the title in category Q and Q2, Q3, and Q4. And 5-year indicators are also available. The GIF can be found independently of journal citation reports, usually of the journal homepage. So I guess most of the time you people might be doing this kind of activities while you are planning to submit your manuscript, or while you are planning to prepare your manuscript. By knowing the standard of the manuscript, you are deciding your journal, as well as then submission of those articles into the journals. So eigenfactor scores and article influence. The eigenfactor project is sponsored by the BEST lab at the Information School and the Breston lab in the Department of Biology in the University of Washington. It uses information from the entire citation network to measure the importance of each journal, much as Google and the PageRank algorithm measures the importance of website on the World Wide Web. And find eigenfactors matrix as
Maybe our speaker is facing some internet issue. Sir, we could not hear you, sir. Let's hope that he will join us again. We'll wait for our experts to join in. Maybe he is facing some internet issue. Actually, we are trying to contact our expert. Maybe he got disconnected. I'm just trying to give him a call, but he is not taking my phone. I doubt maybe he's not even aware that he got disconnected. Give me a second. I'm just trying. Sir, आप मतलब डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए थे for last 10
अच्छा,
minutes.
for past 10 minutes, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I tried to
And
call you. Yeah.
so I was not able to make out when I got disconnected.
Exactly.
I then
Actually,
kept
it actually happens, sir. It
uh,
actually happens. Yeah.
I kept talking and thinking that that I am connected.
Exactly.
But anyway, just consider it was a break for all of you.
Yes.
And then let me start
Yes, sir,
because we
please.
have another 1 hour. We have another 1 hour where we can interact. So now I shall be sharing some exercise sort of a platform where whatever I have talked, we are going to see really how it happens on those research platforms. So maybe I can start with the Google Scholar and see what we seek, what we find, and how we work with those platforms. And for some of you who are the new researchers, certainly this kind of the discussions are going to be very, very useful. So I shall open and then share uh, the screen. For example, if I share the screen, maybe
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Google Scholar, and I hope this screen is visible, which I
Yes,
have
sir. Yes, sir.
shared.
We can see it. We can see it. Please
Okay,
go ahead.
so if I type here Google Scholar and then this is trying to discuss from scratch, and if I click here on the Google Scholar, so we are reaching over here, and some of you suppose start with someone's name to suppose I myself typing my name, say Dr. Ramkaran Singh, and willing to see my profile. So certainly it is going to be there for you. So you can always see my research statistics, and whatever I was talking, you can see here my citations, my H index, my I-10 index since 2017 onwards. If you are willing to download some of my research papers, you can do so. And then and for that matter, anybody, because these are the things which are purely available in the public domain, it is not a confidential thing. So you can always access the research profile with the scientist with whom you are willing to work, or certain kind of research papers you want to find out, or you are going to request to get out of it. Same thing, if I type the name of some other research scholars like with whom I worked in the past, like say Dr. Javed Malik, and then you are going to get his research profile like this. And he is more punctual in terms of updating the research data on the Google Scholar, because it also needs a lot of things need to be done manually. So if we see the profile of Dr. Javed Malik, he is associate professor in Department of Civil Engineering, College of Engineering in King Khalid University. And his area of research is urban environment, thermal remote sensing, geospatial modeling, hydrology, and geochemical analysis. These are the broad research areas in which he is working with. And this is the stat of his research data from 2015, and it is continuously increasing, isn't it? There is an increasing 2016. We were the researcher together in the same university before I came back to India. His citation index is 1693. His H index is 21. Just in my past slide, I was willing to explain what is the meaning of H index. This I-10 index is 32. And since 2017, this is his number. So if you want to see that someone is active in the research or someone is not active in the research, you can always find out. And you can always see the research papers. and you can also click some of the research papers you can download. For example, GIS based landslide substability evaluation using fuzzy AHP multi-criteria decision making technique in Abha watershed. I was also involved in this particular research, which I was talking about. Suppose I am clicking on this. So here you can see myself, Dr. Javed Malik, Ramkaran Singh, Muhammad Abul Hassan, Awad, Shaful Islam, Ruhul Abad, Muhammad Noor Qureshi. So these were some of the researchers. And if you are willing to see the numbers related to this, it has cited by 48 researchers. So this means this research is getting good publicity in terms of researchers. And if you are willing to see the full article of this paper, you can also look through. See this by articles PDF, you can see how expensive this article is. It costs around some 35 pounds. So multiplied by 100 means 35,000 for one copy. So you see how the companies are earning with this research by taking the copyright. With one paper, they are earning per article selling PDF, they are earning 35 pounds. But sometimes if these papers are available in the public domain, you can download those things. I am sure that we would have also uploaded this paper in the ResearchGate. Just out of curiosity, suppose I copy this and going to paste on the Google Scholar. Let us see what we are going to get there. So instead of author name, I am just putting the title of the research paper, and we got this research paper is available over here. And if you click on this, if you click here, you see this paper, the reference is like this. So while you are writing a research articles directly, you need not to type things manually, rather than particular format in which you are willing to arrange your references, cross references directly. You can take it from here. If you want to follow the Chicago style, take it from here. If you want to Harvard style, take it from here. So these platform also help us in writing our own research articles. If you want to, this paper is already cited by 48 peoples, and there are related articles. If you want, you can find out. Let us see what we get if we. I am getting the same thing which I got before. This means this research articles might not be available in the public domain, but you can always ask a PDF copy by the author if you are willing so. So this is the way it is going to help. So like that, this suppose I have put Fuzzytopsis, application of fuzzy technology in civil engineering and construction management in a special issue was. This is some, I put some keywords for looking the research papers. So this is the article published here. If you are willing to see this paper, whether it is, you can also download the PDF of this paper. And sometimes papers are also downloadable. You can download them, and then you can save them, and then you can study those papers in the of mod. Suppose Yel Jade was the person who has developed Zimmerman and Yel Jade, they developed the concept of fuzzy theory. So in year 1965. And so the fuzzy theory itself was developed in year 1965, and for several decades it was not very popular. And then later on it has become popular when the high-speed computers came in the market. So in the recent time, if you see a lot of systems which are designed based on the fuzzy concepts, fuzzy washing machine, even fuzzy dishwashers, and almost all the digital system you get in the market are based on the fuzzy concept. And most of you who are researching in the area of fuzzy might be knowing what is the difference between the classical mathematics and the fuzzy mathematics. In the classical probabilistic theory, the decision are taken on yes or no basis. Yes means 1, no means 0. When the fuzzy evolves, then the decision is taken between 0 and 1. So between 0 and 1, there is infinite number of solutions exist, and you can choose the best solution which you like, best optimal solution which you like. So since the advancement of fuzzy theory, it has become very powerful tool in the decision science, management related problems, and design of the various kind of digital systems which we are going to use. Even so many other new technology which are evolving and coming, they are based on the fuzzy systems. So I have a lot of research work on the fuzzy concepts. I have also worked in the fuzzy decision makings, in the geospatial modelings. My one recent research paper was on the merging of Indian banks in the area of commercial sectors. So that is used in the decision science management courses. So always this kind of things we can look through in the Google Scholar, which is very, very powerful tool to work with. Suppose I go to my own, say, biodata. Here I have made a folder and named that folder with Professor Manoj. And because this, when I, so suppose I go to my biodata and look through some research articles and try to, after getting that research article, trying to search those research article in the Google Scholar. Let us see what happens. Because these are the different ways by which the ideas come to our mind, and then we start researching. So this is the way we can authenticate our research. And all of you know that these days we are using the Turnitin software to reduce the similarity index of research papers. So a lot of tools and softwares are also available. See, these are the photographs while we were doing the geospatial modeling in the Arab region, which is a consist of with the field data.
Ramgaran sir, we could see only this screen, Google Scholar screen. If you want to share,
okay, okay, let me unshare and then share again, isn't it?
Okay, yes, sir. You have to share entire screen. Once you do that, you can switch over the folders.
Okay, okay.
When you start sharing it, share and then use the option entire screen.
Okay, entire screen, huh?
Yes, sir.
So that option will be there, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you first stop the sharing and then you please redo it. Okay. And in the meantime, one of the participants has raised the hand for a few seconds, and then I was about to unmute. If someone wants to talk to sir, you can always raise your hand. In the meantime, sir is sharing.
Yeah, that will be nice. So Dr. Manoj, I am trying to unshare and then share again.
Yes,
what
sir.
I was willing to show. So here I was browsing through some paper which is I'm willing to see how to search for it, and then if it is available in the public domain. First, let me do the process. Is I have that
No,
screen I have.
no, sir. You have to stop sharing. There is an option coming on the top of your screen. Stop sharing.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Just stop the share.
I have closed it.
No,
And
need not to close.
Okay.
In on Zoom window only, sir. On the Zoom window only, maybe.
I
you
stop.
must-
There is one place stop video, mute
No, sir. On the top.
on the top. Okay.
Stop share.
Let me maximize this. So, okay.
Yes, now it's done. Now it's done. Now
It
you
is,
can reshare it
okay.
using entire screen option.
So I am entire. I am there is option share.
You just click on it and then
Okay.
there is an
And then-
option coming. Yes,
You
now we
share.
can see your folder, sir. Now we can see the folder.
Now it is okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay. So so I am opening this particular file and just going through it and searching for some paper which I am willing to search through Google Scholar and then see what are the research elements are involved. So this document is seen by all of you.
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Okay. So just I am browsing through because the type of research which I was talking about is also compiled over here. And then most of the time I talk what I have done in the actual real life. So this I was talking about geospatial modeling in the context of Saudi Arabia. So this was the southern region of Saudi Arabia called Abha city, and we did a geospatial modeling for this using the satellite imagery from NASA. And then lot of field survey we did, and then got the natural resources and got tested those things into the laboratory. Because at the same time, we also need to validate our results through the experimentation, whatever we get in field. That's why the lab work activities are also important. Here is Dr. Javed, who was also the part of research team, and he is expert of geospatial research. We had number of projects up to 1.8 million Saudi riyals, and with aspect related to so many important research. This area was very interesting because it has a lot of gradient where the oil flow from Abha city towards Yemen side. So whole of the war between Yemen and Saudi Arabia is because of this area. And the gradient of the oil flow is from Abha city towards Yemen side, and which has been stopped by the company called Aramco. And then whole oils are taken out in the Saudi Arabia itself rather than allowing to flow it into the Yemen. So we are seeing the news now and then that they are in war because of these kind of regions. But if we see these papers here in the red, I have also shown the ISI impact factors citation in Web Science. Because these numbers these days are important. So just writing the research references are not important because people are more and more interested to know more information about your research these days. There was a time when we were doing the research and we were forgetting, but these days we also follow that how our research is being utilized in the public domain. So some of these research, if we read through, these were in the context of Saudi Arabia, and somewhere on the green chamber formings, somewhere on the fuzzy-based multi-criteria decision makings, somewhere on the geospatial modelings, and then some of the applied ecology and environment research like this. This paper is simulation based ranking of vegetable cash crops. And this research was very important for the juniper process of African pencil cedar in a natural, in this particular region, which is located on the Red Sea. So the climatic condition is very interesting. This is the only place in Saudi Arabia called Abha city where the temperature throughout the year is in the range of 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. The region is, this place is nearly 3,000 meters from the mean sea level. So this place is also the called as a what tourist capital of entire Arab region. So a lot of tourists come in this particular area. So that's why the research in this area was very, very important. And government was investing a lot of money to protect their flora, fauna, and natural resources. So we did a lot of research, and these all research papers listed over here are in this region only. And they have a lot of practical relevance in terms of decision making. So all these papers are available on the ResearchGate. Some of you who are interested can always access to these papers, study. If you are interested in geospatial modelings, you can always discuss. But fuzzy-based modeling can be applied in wide range of areas, not only confined with the natural resource management, as well as it is applied in so much of decision-making process. And multi-criteria decision making itself consists of more than 150 different kind of methods used in the decision making. So whole of the decision science these days is evolving because of this. So here I was, for example, if I select this and try to search for this paper, or I am more interested to share one research article rather than searching, sharing directly over here. So is this research article is visible to all of you? Decision support model to select the crop pattern
Yes,
for
sir. Yes, sir.
sustainable agriculture practices using fuzzy MCDM. So this was the paper. This paper recently I downloaded 2-3 days before. There was 71 publication and 219 citations since year 2017. And some of my research colleagues like Emin Qureshi, he was also in King Khalid University, and his number is better, 108 publication and 2,651 citations. Similarly, Dr. Abul Hassan, he was from Jamia and he is working as professor there. So decision support model to select the crop pattern for sustainable agriculture practices using fuzzy MCDM. These papers you can directly download from there and you can read. And here we have used the fuzzy Topsis techniques in decision-making process. And this paper I have written so elaborately that any person who is starting scratch how to learn the fuzzy Topsis or fuzzy decision-making tools, this paper is going to very, very helpful for them. Because here I have also included very basic mathematics of fuzzy, and it is very easy to understand because each and every calculation steps I have included in this paper. And this is also linked with the sustainability. We started discussion with the sustainability. Unless until these days you use the new cutting edge areas, your paper is not going to get published in good journals. So always while you are working in a particular research topic, you should see that the research paper is in the latest cutting edge areas. Then only the research publications are possible. Here I have taken the factor related to social, related to economical, and related to ecological. All these factors together form a sustainable framework under which I have designed these problems. So then crop production systems, you can see we have developed a 7M management tools: management, manpower, machine, material, method, money, and marketing. Linked with the all these things were developed by us while we developed the model, and we took the actual real life data information to do the simulation and modeling. Application of a sustainable farming practices, crop production with the value additions, social, economic, and ecological self-sufficiency, input, and then this is a system transformation through the sustainable farming practices, then output. And if you read through the literature review, very fundamental papers I have included over here, including El-Jadeh and Zimmerman, who has developed the concept of fuzzy set theory and then extended to the fuzzy systems. And then this we have applied for the Rabi crop system in India and select the crop rotation practices. So all these things has been, this is the framework for Fuzzytopsis based Rabi crop. And this paper I am showing in more details because some of you who might be interested to extend their research career in the area of fuzzy, they can understand the basic of fuzzy very easily through this paper. So these are the basic mathematics of fuzzy which we have used in this paper. This is a fuzzy membership functions, and this is the Fuzzytopsis method. This decision is based on 3 stages for the hierarchical structure of the crop pattern selection for sustainable agriculture practices in Indian climatic conditions for the Rabi crop. Rabi crop is basically the winter crop which is grown in India, especially wheat and so many other crops are grown in the time of winter in India. Sometimes their cropping time period is 90 days, sometime 120 days, and so on. So here all the basic mathematics are being covered over here, and they are very easy to understand, grasp through. So some of you can download the copy of this paper and willing to learn the fuzzy Topsys or fuzzy HP or so many other fuzzy based decision tools to apply to design a system, to analyze a system. So construction of the fuzzy decision matrix. So all these iterations are very clearly explained over here, and ultimately the rankings are done for the decision purpose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the crops which has been taken right from the wheat to barley to gram to rabi cereals to rabi pulses, sugarcane, spices, and vegetables. So if we are going to prioritize these things as a farmer, which crop we should select first? So that will take care of other parameter on which you are going to take decision, whether it is related with the soil fertility, whether it is related with the moisture content of the soil, whether it is related with climatic condition, whether it is related with the cost of the seeds. All these factors are being taken care of to give the final decision on the crop selection for the farmers. So these kind of analysis becomes very important for us in the decision making process. Results and discussions, if you look through, you will get. And in the appendix, we have included all the calculation tables, which you can verify through the calculations and understand each and every step related to basics of fuzzy set theory. So those people who are willing to learn the, here we have used 12 criteria, but sometimes you can take hundreds of criteria in the decision making problem. We have taken the 3 layer model. You can go more than that. and you can take a very complex decision through this analysis. So all the calculation tables are also included over here. Even for the expert, the type of questionnaire which is being prepared is also being presented over here. So these questionnaires can also help you how to feed the numbers in the model. So all these appendix are included over here. And this is very basic paper on the Fuzzytopsis in the decision science. So I thought of to share this paper and discuss the basic concept of this research paper, so that those people who are interested to do the research using Fuzzytopsis as a decision-making tool can do that. So this one problem I thought of to discuss in a more elaborate manner. Like that, I have also developed, collected so many things. Some of you who might be thinking to how to prepare a manuscript, how to identify a journal, and then how to submit your paper. The very first step, which is going to be to start with decide the journal and download the author guidelines. This is going to be the first step while you are going to write a quality research paper. Then read the author guideline word by word, line by line, and understand everything. Then you prepare your manuscript accordingly. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for the editor to reject your paper. If they find that the paper is not prepared as per the requirement of the journal, immediately they send back. Sometime if they have time, they read your abstract. And by reading your 2-3 lines, if they get a single mistake, then they also reject the paper. So different kind of editors used to have a different styles. But once your paper is through with the editor, then he send your paper to the reviewers. And if your paper reaches to reviewers, you are lucky, because sometimes the quality of your research increases by the good reviewers. And when they give a good review and comments, and you address those things properly, then your paper research reaches automatically to the next level. So if you get a reviewer comment, you are lucky. And if you are able to address those comments properly, then the quality of your research will improve. So, this is very important for the new researcher first to download the author guideline of the concerned journal, and then read the guideline word by word, line by line. And once your material is ready, then you can prepare your manuscript as per the author guidelines, and make 100% sure that once you are submitting the manuscript, it is in line with the journal's guideline. So, so here I have downloaded Elsewhere guideline for you to just have a feel about it. But each and every journal used to have their own guidelines in terms of the submissions. So each and everything is written in these guidelines related to the article submissions, audience, who are the audience for that particular journal, what is the impact factor, what are the abstracting and indexing procedures, what is the editorial board. And editorial board is very important for a journal. So you can look through the editorial board, which is consist of with the number of top scientists working in those areas, huge editorial boards. And then we can guideline for others how to prepare your introduction. So you need to read these things and understand for preparing the introduction, which is an important component of your research papers. As an international multidisciplinary peer-reviewed journal, Learning and Introduction provides a platform for the publication of the most advanced science research in the areas of learning, development, instruction, and teachings. Then the rigor of studies, empirical research, experimental design, qualitative studies, registered reports, contact details for submission, that is important, submission checklist. So you can also have a submission checklist before submitting. You go through that. Email address, full postal address, include keywords. Keywords are very important, and there is a way to identify the keywords, figures, and their resolutions, their size, their captions. All these things are very important, and there is a guideline for that also. While you are including the figures, there should be the reals. If you are taking figure elsewhere, then the permissions, the report of the permissions, tables, including title, description, footnotes. Ensure all figures and table citation in the next match of height. And then further considerations. Before most of these days, the papers are submitted online portals. Before you begin ethics in publishing, you must understand. Please see our information on ethics in publishing. So those ethical information you must be aware with. Declarations, submission declaration, declaration of interest, because at no point of time your research article should become controversial. You should be very, very confident about that. So all those ethical issues you need to be aware with. And then preprints, and then the author contributions. These days the journals also want which author has contributed what, so that at a later stage there should not be a dispute in themselves that I have not been given the proper credit. So all these kind of the issues need to be sorted out beforehand. And these days the journals are also asking the author contributions, changes to authorship. Sometimes before and after it happens. Then the copyright rules, and then the author rights, role of the funding sources, how to acknowledge them. Sometimes the paper become controversial because of funding agencies if they are not acknowledged properly. Many times it happens even because of a small, they have a format how they need to be acknowledged. If those formats are missed, they don't consider those papers, and then your project will not get through. So all these kind of things are very important. Open access journals, what are their rules and guidelines? Review policy, acceptable, unacceptable preparations. Then the status check and reporting of findings, queries, peer review, then double anonymized review, use of word processing software, article structure. All these things need to be done. Even the font size and the results and discussions and the conclusion, etc., need to be based on that particular journal guideline only. Essential titles, page informations. So I thought of this kind of the information is going to be useful for the new researchers who might have just finished their PhD and willing to do a lot of research work in the times to come. Keywords, abbreviations, acknowledgement, formatting of funding sources. So all these things you should read and be very, very aware with that before you prepare your manuscript and getting ready for its submission.
So, sorry, since it's last 20 minutes, so shall we go for an interaction?
Yeah, Professor, this is very important. So now this time we can utilize for the
interaction and all.
Interaction.
So it is good that if many of our audience may like to tie up with you and have some research in that area, it will be fine.
Very nice.
I just want to know, sir, what will be the key, we can say, characteristic of an academic leader, because many of the audience might be aspiring to be an academic leader. So what do you say on that?
For the academic leadership, what I am willing to say is you need to be visible as a leader, isn't it? And if you are visible as a leader, your numbers, statistics are going to be very good on the Google Scholars, on the ResearchGate or ORCID platform. And then you need not to say anything. Like other day, one of my friend, he is working in the Thapar University, Professor Rafa Siddiqui. He was very proudly telling that I am #1 in the area of reinforcement concrete as per the Stanford ranking. And moreover, he need not to tell even the people who open the Stanford ranking and see the name of Professor Rafa Siddiqui, and he is #1 scientist in the world. So he is considered to be academic leader. So anybody who is going to take any decision in the area of reinforcement cement concrete or fiber reinforced cement concrete, first he will try to interact with the Professor Rafa Siddiqui in the Thapar Institute. It's just one example I am giving, isn't it? Because
that's okay. What you're saying to take up that post, but once after being at that post, what will be the characteristic you should expect?
Once he become a academic leaders, then he should contribute for the local as well as global society, depending upon his stature. So he need to produce more and more research scholar of his stature. He need to produce more and more knowledge in those areas, which is going to help and well-being of the local and global society. And automatically he can give a vision to a university which is going to be a research-based university. These are the meaning of academic leadership. A person who himself is not good in research, how he can have a vision of good research? That is the meaning of it. It is as simple as this. So any person who is a good academician and good researcher, he can be good academic and academic administrator as well. Because these are the things where the muscle powers are not important, but the power related to mind and brain is important in these academic institutions. So that is the meaning of academic leadership. And these things give a good direction and vision to a university system. No doubt, little bit of soft skills are also important to handle, but in the process you will get so many helping hands to manage those kind of aspects. But in the knowledge domain, you may have a limited options. So that leadership only be confined with the person who is working in those directions. Like if you take the example of Professor Prem Rath, I inspire till date him as a good researcher, good academician, as well as a good leader. And such kind of the people are rare in the society, which gives the leadership, rather the front leadership in the academics, being a good academician and good researcher. So he is going to be any organization, that organization will be on right path.
Great, sir. Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
So actually, being 4:45, and many people are just saying they have to take a bus and all. So we can just wind up. I would open this forum for interaction. If anyone wants to say or interact with sir, you can raise your hand and I will allow that person to unmute. Feel free to do that.
I will be very happy.
Yes, sir. Please.
I will be, I will be very happy.
Yeah. Yes, sure. Let me know, because we are just about to close, last 15 minutes left. So better if you wish to say something.
I wish to hear with the participant. Still, I am able to see there are 72 participants who are there. I will be very happy.
So do we have anybody from civil engineering background or particularly working in computer science and all who wish to interact with sir and wants to tie up or get associated with on any of his research project or something? Feel free to ask.
And Professor Manoj, even
Yeah,
they
I
can
think
also
it is.
interact me at later stage also.
Yeah,
They can
sure.
have my email ID, phone number as well. And at any point of time, if they are willing to connect with me on the research front, that is also fine.
Yes,
And
sure.
they can ask the question here.
So I think we have one hand raised up. Okay,
Yeah,
Shai
yeah.
sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Manojji. Sir, one question. How would you differentiate the leadership styles of vice chancellors of private universities, deemed to be universities, central and state universities? What type of leadership should they demonstrate, and what type of qualities do you think they need to have? Should they be different?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Should they be looked at as different entities, or are all on the same parallel?
Yeah. This is very good question raised by Professor. And this question has number of dimensions. As per the academic research are concerned, they will be that parameter will remain same, whether it is central university, whether it is IIT or private university, because we all need to deliver in terms of academic and research. But of course, there are various other aspects of the leadership where they should get differentiated. For example, most of the central universities and IITs, they get the funding from central government. So, private universities, they survive based on their own fundings generated by themselves. So the revenue becomes a very important factor. So when we come to the leadership in private university systems, we have to have a more proactive approach. Reason being, we are competing in ourselves as in a private university system, as well as with the government system as well. So this financial sustainability become a very important factor in. So being a private university vice chancellor, I need to be more and more proactive, because I need to also worry about the admissions. Then I need to also worry about floating the new areas, new subjects, and at the same time maintaining the quality, getting the good accreditations and NAC, NIRF, and various other international things. So every time we need to be on toe, and with the environment with whom we are competing with. So for that, the leadership approach need to be little different as per to the central universities, as per the IITs. In central university, you might be seeing the most of the time vice chancellor is busy in maintaining the law and order situation in the campus, rather than focusing on the these core issues of generating the revenues, or generating the funds, or taking few steps ahead. So these are the factors which differs, and we can go point by point, and we can differentiate between the systems, and this makes a lot of difference. And moreover, the student mindset also differs. For example, input and output and the system. So suppose we take a robust system like IIT, the quality of input is so good, then the quality of output will be also good if the activities within the systems are taking place well. But we as a private organization may not get the same aptitude students, but we need to groom them, we need to train them, we need to give the academic rigor to them, so that if they are not becoming a IIT graduates, at least they should become a graduate who can get a decent employment, who can lead their life better. So that is the way the leadership role also differs. So these are the differences, sir. And
Great.
moreover,
It's quite exhaustive. I could even get an insight that yes, though the we can say the designation seems same, but the kind of level is not same. It's not a level playing ground here for a private institution and for the government-funded institutions. I agree. Research is something which both can have a equal ground, but for other aspect, I totally agree with you, sir, on that.
Yeah.
Great.
So in those system, you even leave the robot system, you leave the things on the auto mode, they will run. But here we cannot leave the auto mod. The things will
Sure.
collapse.
Exactly.
Uh, uh,
Fantastic. Thank you, Shahid sir, for your query. Anybody else who wish to add something? Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, sir, we have last 5-7 minutes more left. If you wish to say something.
yeah, this was a great opportunity for me to talking with a good number of audience over here on the different issues. Though I was not able to cover so much details, so much of things which need to be covered on this particular topic. But as you suggested that audience can also interact with me in future, whatever the experience I have, whatever the knowledge I have, I shall be always open to share with them. And this was a great opportunity for me. And thanks to AICTE for funding this particular workshop. And thanks to C.V. Raman Global University to organizing this particular workshop. And thanks to Professor Manoj Gopalia to identifying me one of the resource person to speak on this topic. And
it's our privilege to have you here, sir. It's
yes,
totally
sir.
an honor to hear you for last 2 hours. And with your permission, I will be sharing your email ID to all the participants, so that in future, if they wish to collaborate with you, they can directly contact.
Yeah, I have a permission. You can share my email ID as well as phone number also, which is there on WhatsApp.
Okay.
I will be very happy to help anybody interested at a later stage also.
Fantastic. So once again, thank you so much for accepting our request and sparing your valuable time with us. It's great hearing you for last few hours. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, sir. And nice meeting you after a long time, sir.
Thank you. Let us hope we will meet.
Yeah, we will be in touch, sir. We will be in touch.
Yeah,
Even our civil engineering people are also working quite exhaustively. I'm also in the DRC. So I will be actually identifying some of the project which we will work with you on that, sir.
So nice. Very nice hearing this.
Yes.
And
so once again, thank you so much, sir. I will be putting some information to all the participants. In the meantime, if you wish, you can log out from the Zoom, sir. I will be just sharing some information to the participants. Sir.
Great.
Okay, and once again, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And all the participants, we will be meeting at 9:30 tomorrow sharp. And our speaker has requested me to share some YouTube links prepared by him only. Yeah, I would request you to kindly go through it and come prepared for the interaction tomorrow. And afterwards, in future classes also, there will be some activities to be performed by the participant before the session. So I will be keep on sharing it through your email and also through the WhatsApp group, which we have prepared for the purpose. And once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you a great day ahead to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.